Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. In today's video, we are talking about my Sunday Darksuns campaign that I'm a player in, not a game master of. Each of the players has up to 2 characters each in the game. Gives us more exposure to more classes and more fun to play because we're all experienced players. And those of us that aren't get to see and play multiple classes. Our just general rule of thumb, if you're doing that, is you're only allowed 1 spellcasting class, and the other one can have spells, but needs to be a fighting type class. So that way, one of your characters you're not spending a lot of time looking up spells, and the other one you are. So, where we last left off, the dragon had sent us into this forest, and then we parted ways with the gnomes that we were trying to lead out of the Underdark. I think we made camp because it was night, but I could be wrong. Either way, when the campaign starts up, the adventure starts up again, we are trying to figure out where we're at. So 2 characters climb some trees and look around. I had Hoya go up a tree, but then I had her be a normal cat and not want to come down without help. And then somebody else climbed a tree, and we just got a general sense of what was in each of the directions to pick from. There's mountains in one direction, there's forest in another direction with a bunch of spots of clearings, and there's forest in the other direction. I don't remember if there was any clearings though. And then there was desert in one of the directions. We decide to travel to the first clearing, just kind of see what's there. We climb trees again. Hoya might not have climbed trees the first time. She might have done it this time to look in and see what was in there. And she sees a few things moving in and out of the tall grass, but she can't see what it is. The grass is more than 5 feet tall. So the tortoise cobalt, he's just a cobalt wearing a tortoise shell. He's treating it as a kappa shell. Goes into the overgrowth, but he is blind to where he's going. The mantis guy jumps into the tall grass. The things start to take notice of him, and he jumps back to us and brings one to us. We dispatch it. The walrus guy, who's a samurai serving the cobalt, the walrus guy and Ort, my O-Reed fighter, dispatch of the thing for the most part in one round with 1 attack each from us. It lets off a death scream, and then the other flock of them that are in this area move towards us. But we can't see them because of the tall grass. So the mantis jumps into the tall grass and keeps every turn moving further and further away from us. At some point, he ends up surrounded by a few of them. I think 3 of them. So he uses the ability he had just gained to change the weather, and he changes it to a stormy overcast, and then he's using his ability called lightning. And this is where the fun begins, because he's one of the players that hasn't played a lot of games with us, but usually each game we have, in the party, somebody sets fire to something somewhere. In the Ravenloft campaign that we were in, I was notorious for setting fire to towns and stuff while we were fighting, because I was sun and fire domain, fire and healing domain cleric, and I'd just drop fire everywhere. So it's hilarious that somebody that's not that experienced in our group is doing that. And this is not the only forest fire I've seen in my years of playing. Usually I don't see one, but every 2 years of gaming. Different groups. It's always fun. Anyways, the birds scatter and attack us at the entrance to the clearing, as well as there's a few that outnumber the mantis, and he's using his call lightning to try to kill him. Hoya uses a one or two of her psychic abilities on a bird, does some damage to them. Ort, using his power attack and his sword, is taking out as many as he can, but I think it's no more than one per turn that he can be on one. And then our walrus guy, our walrus samurai, is taking out one per turn that he can as well. And then our brawler, if he's not killing one a turn, he's heavily injuring one every turn. And it takes us a handful of turns, and we dispatch all the birds. But in the meantime, now all the grassland's on fire, and it's starting to spread into the forest. So we decide, as we were fighting, Ort was going to take as many of the birds as he could for food with us. So we pick up as many as we can as we're trying to scatter away from this fire, and we have to head into the desert. We collect a bunch of firewood along the way, and Ort digs him one of those hidden fire pits. It's similar to, what are they called? Well, it's a hole with a hole beside it that has an angle dug into the pit that's going to have all the fire, and that flows air into it. It usually burns hot and without smoke, and it burns at ground level instead of on top of the ground, so at most you'll see a tiny bit of light from it, if any at all. And we use that to cook up the birds. We pull out some of the bones that we want to use for trade or whatnot, and we preserve as much of the meat as we can, and we enjoy eating for that meal as well as a few others to come. But as far as I remember, the game ended about there. So we didn't quite do a whole lot other than the combat that session. But if I'm wrong, players, put it in the comments below. And if I've missed anything funny, put that in the comments below. Well, until we all game again, guys.